Hi everybody, welcome back for another word from Mrs. Wordsmith. So today is Thursday the 14th of May. Now, I quite like this word, today's word. It's a hot word and it comes from the weather section of Mrs. Wordsmith. And I like hot words because I like being out in the sunshine. Sometimes just saying, oh, it's really hot. It's not really like, it doesn't tell the full story. So today's word of the day is a weather word. It's a hot word. And today's word of the day is stifling. Stifling. And it's an adjective and it's a word that we use to describe really, really hot weather. Now, if you look at the definition there above the picture, it says smothering or suffocating, like a day so hot it makes your skin pour with sweat. And look at poor old Bernice down there. She's like, it's so hot, I can't move. It's like, have you ever seen a dog in that heat? It's just so hot that they're panting. Ugh, stifling. Now, when I wrote my list of words, because I've told you before I like to write a list of all the words that we're going to learn, and sometimes I don't know much about the words. So what I do is I look it up. This website here. And this website helps us to find out about the etymology of a word. The etymology of a word is the history of the word and where it comes from. Because as we know, there are lots and lots of words that come, for example, from Latin and from ancient Greek. If you're interested to find out more about words like that, then you can check out my top 10 etymology facts. I think it's called Fun Facts About Words that I posted a little while ago. So I really like to find out about the history of the words, and I think that helps me to have it stick in my head. If I can remember a little story that goes with the word, it helps me to remember it. So I went onto this website and I typed in our word of the day. And I thought, I wonder where that word comes from. And did you know, it actually comes from a mixture of Latin and Old French. So the French that they speak in France today has changed over the years. So this is a mixture of Latin and Old French. And the Old French word that the stifling originates from is actually this word, estouffer. Estouffer. And what that means is smother or put out, like a flame. You know, when you smother a flame or you put it out. So I just thought that was really interesting because sometimes you can kind of see, you can see the word estouffer and stifling. They've got that st in them. So they look quite similar. And I thought that was quite interesting because when it is stifling hot, remember stifling means smothering or suffocating, like a day so hot it makes your skin pour with sweat. And I thought that was quite interesting because when it really is that hot, when it's stiflingly hot, it kind of does feel like you've been put out. All your energy is drained out of you. Like, when you put out a candle and all the energy just goes from it. That's a bit what it feels like when it's so hot that it's stifling hot. It kind of makes you feel a bit tired and all your energy is zapped. So yeah, that's a really interesting word. Now, I've got a little story about I've always got a story. I've got a little story about most of these words, but I've got a little story about this particular word because it got me thinking, have I ever been in a situation where it has been stiflingly hot, stifling, like so hot that it was smothering and suffocating? I have been that hot. It doesn't happen very often in this country, but it has happened to me in the past. Now, I remember when I was a little girl, well, maybe I was like 10 or 12, I can't remember. And I was really excited because I went on holiday with my mum, and I didn't get to go on holiday very much when I was little, and so I hadn't been on holiday to a hot country for a long time, but I was super excited. So we packed up our suitcases and we went to the airport and we got on the plane, and it was somewhere in Spain that we went to, I think. And because I hadn't been on holiday to a hot country for a long time, I remember getting off the plane and it was like a wave of heat sort of hit me in the face, and it was really stifling. It kind of made you feel the energy was just gone. And I loved being on holiday, I had a really nice time, but to start off with, it was stifling because by the pool you couldn't cope. You had to just get in the water to cool off because it was so hot all the time that it just drained the energy from you. So on that particular holiday, it was really stifling hot. It was 30, 32 degrees every day, which, we had to make sure we were wearing lots of sun cream. So yeah, that particular holiday, I remember it being stiflingly hot. So hot that my skin I got a little bit of a sunburn and it zapped all the energy out of me. Nightmare. It wasn't a nightmare, it was actually quite good fun, but I remember the heat, and it was really difficult because I was quite little. I couldn't really deal with the heat very well, so that was really tough. So there are lots of words that you could use alongside the word stifling. Now, remember what we said, we call these word pairs or collocations, and that means that they fit really well in the same sentence together. They're kind of like BFFs, they hang out a lot together. So you might have stifling heat, like when I was on holiday and the heat was stifling. The weather was stifling. It was so hot that it was suffocating or smothering. You might also have a stifling atmosphere. So the atmosphere when I was on holiday was so hot that it was stifling. Okay, so you're going to have two challenges to do with this word. Challenge number 1 is your handwriting, and it's going to be awesome. Go! Challenge number 2 is to draw a situation where the person or animal in that situation is in a stifling heat. So it might be that you draw a penguin and he's lying in the sunshine. That would be quite difficult for a penguin because penguins normally like the cold. You might draw yourself lying on a hot beach with the sun beaming down, and maybe you're starting to get a little bit of a sunburn. That might be quite an interesting one. Sometimes if you're in the car, have you ever done this on the way home from school? It's like the middle of summer and someone comes to pick you up from school and they open the door of the car and it's so hot inside that you can't bear to get inside the car because it's too hot. It's stifling. It feels like you might be suffocated if you get inside because it's so hot. So I want you to have a little think and draw a little situation. So I want you to have a think and draw a situation where the person or animal or character in that situation is in a stifling heat. Okay, Thank you so much for joining me. Well done on completing your word of the day. Don't forget, if you send me a picture or some evidence that you have completed this work, either to me or to Mr. Buffum, you will have 2 dojos. Have an awesome day. See you all soon. Bye.